So and then I got fired for having a dick in my drawer. So
What?
you don't know this
I
story?
don't know that
Are
story.
you kidding me? Do you know this story?
No, but we're still rolling, so tell it.
Absolutely, yes.
Let's tell it for the world.
Man, outstanding. So, well, I'd always hoped that I could one day say that a rubber dick was the best thing that happened to me in my professional career. And we've gotten far enough away from it. It's like been 7 years. And now I'm in a place with my life and my business where I can confidently say that a little rubber penis was the best thing that ever happened to me professionally. I can't believe you guys don't know this story. So I was working at Ed Jones, right there on Main Street by the
Where Kevin Sposs is at?
yeah, in
Okay.
Kevin Spots' office, and right next to the Chamber of Commerce. Had this great little office. Inherited a really good book of business from the lady who left, and cute little office. I decorated it. And my old colleagues from my former career came in and were like, "Man, this is a cool place. You did a great job with it. We got you a little office warming gift." And they gave me this little rubber penis, and they said, "Hey, don't fuck this up." And I was like, "Oh, sweet, that's cool." And so whatever. So I took it, and I just didn't have time for it, so I just threw it in my filing cabinet, and went about my business. Now, keep in mind, this is like, there's my office, and then my office is inside of my office, and then there's obviously my filing cabinet that's in there. So this little rubber penis was tucked well away. But the way that Ed Jones handles compliance is they come in there and they turn your whole life upside down, right? I mean, where I'm at now, compliance just like monitors emails and, says that kind of stuff. But they turn my whole life upside down, and they asked me about it. And I was like, "Oh, yeah, man, it's just this gag gift that I never threw away. It's silly, but whatever." And they were like, "Okay, well, we just need to, tell, corporate office. We write down everything, so everything's fine." And that was like September 30th. And I'm like, shit, man, like, that was weird. And thankfully I went home and I told Allie. Thankfully I went home and I told her. And I worried about it for an entire month. So, like, all that October, I kind of fretted about it. And then they called me on October 30th, and they said, "Hey, we thought about this for a month, and due to, incongruence with firm policy or whatever, we're going to have to let you go."
Oh, no.
And I was like, I didn't really have time to argue. I mean, this was a call that I got from St. Louis at 5 o'clock, on like a Friday afternoon or whatever. So there was no conversation to be had. So I was just absolutely floored.
You're like, "Can I show you a receipt for it?" Well,
Yeah, I mean, like, I don't have it anymore. I got rid of the rubber penis. But I'd never been fired before, much less for being a pervert. And so I'm like freaking terrified.
Wow.
So I went home and I told Allie, and she's like, "Really?" I'm like, "Really?" So, so that was that. And it was about this time of year. Like I said, it was October. And so I went and I filed for unemployment. I didn't really know how that worked, but the checks started coming in, so that was cool. And then I had to have my unemployment call with this nice lady, Brenda, perhaps, I don't know, Brenda, Betty, whatever. And I just remember I'm sitting in my robe. Allie goes to work, she takes the kids to school, and me, being a productive member of society, collecting unemployment for keeping rubber dicks in my office, I'm having a conversation with this nice lady at the unemployment office, and she's asking me all these questions. Because then it's like a battle, right? It's like, I'm trying to collect. They don't want the claim. And she's like, "Well, Mr. Lee, what was it?" And I'm like, "Well, it was a gag gift that my old coworkers gave me. And I guess it really wasn't, like down with, Ed Jones." And she's like, "Sir, you're going to have to be more specific than that." And I was like, "Oh, well, like, it was like a phallic object, it was kind of silly." Again, it was inappropriate, granted, but that was that. And she's like, "Phallic object, okay. Mr. Lee, you're going to have to be more specific. I'm really, like, in order for me to complete this case, I'm going to have to," and I'm like,
Now I think she's just teasing you.
that's what I'm like, yeah. And I'm like, "Look."
She's typing it in and laughing.
Right? Yeah. Well, and I'm like, well, it was like,
That'd be a good one, pass around the office.
yeah, around the old unemployment office.
She's got you on mute. She's like, "Everybody, come here.
Yeah.
Come here. Look at this."
And I was like, well, it was like a little rubber penis. And she's like, "Mr. Lee, you're going to have to be specific." And so I was like, and so finally I said, "All right, well, to be honest with you, I'm getting a little bashful. on this end of the line. You sound like a very nice lady, and I'm not comfortable talking to you to the way that I'm about to talk to you. But we got to do what we got to do." And I said, "It was a little rubber penis about the size of your hand. It was not a dildo, and it was just like mushy," is what I said to her. and that was the end of the call. The checks kept coming in, and that was fine. But the way it works in my business is that you have to, you got to go hang your licenses somewhere, right? You can't just be like, "Oh, I've got my 7 and, I'm going to go drive a bus and, do this and do that and just like come back later," right? It's like, I've got to go hang it up somewhere. And so I applied to all these places, a lot of places reach out to me on LinkedIn, stuff like that. It was good. So that's kind of how I spent that in November and December. But I would go in there, and I'd done really well where I was before the whole penis incident. And I would just go in there and be like, "Look, I'm just going to get this out there because I don't want to have a really good conversation. And then for us to arrive at the end of the conversation only to find out like, well, gosh, Mr. Lee, like, why are you here?" I'd be like, "Well, okay," and tell that whole story again. So I just came out there, like, put the story out on there. I was like, "All right, well, here's the deal." And they're like, "I don't give a shit." Like, I didn't care at all. And I was like, "Really?" Because I care a lot, Like I said, I'd never been fired before, much less for being a pervert. So it's a pretty big deal to me.
Yeah.
But I had one of the firms, they said, "You know what? Like, if you can replicate everything that you did over there, like production-wise, you can keep as many dicks in your drawer as you want." I was like, "All right, well, let's be clear. I don't aspire to have a lot of dicks in my drawer, but that is comforting to know." And so that was that. And then it's popped up everywhere along the way, every stop along the way. The little rubber penis story has popped up, but
now I know what I'm getting you for Christmas.
yeah, that's good. If you could taper it down a little bit, because
I'll hit that button a couple of times there for the
Well, it's
bleep
funny
button.
because now I know what I'm going to get him for Christmas.
Yeah.
It's going to look like it's made a wine bottle box, but
whole
hey.
drawer of them.
I got my office got me like dicks
Stocking.
in nature, a calendar, and it was a whole bunch of like rock formations that looked like dicks.
Perfect.
I was like, "You guys are really something else."
It's a stocking stuffer right there.
So yeah, but yeah, man, I can't.
You can
believe
take it
you've
with you
never
to
heard that
Nate's.
story. Yeah, yeah.
Now the whole world's going to know that story.
Yep.
Did you
Fantastic.
say you put it on LinkedIn, the story?
No, I didn't put the
Oh.
story on LinkedIn.
No.
No.
You getting ahead of it, just put it out there on LinkedIn.
Yeah,
for
hey guys,
everybody
I'm the
to
dick in
see.
the drawer guy.
So if you're going to hire me,
FYI.
here's the story. Just go ahead and read it.
Yeah.
Let me know.
Do you know
if
what
want me to
Saturday
come
Night
to-
Live is since you're so young?
Yes, Dave.
Okay. Have you seen
I
the
could be
skit?
the dick in the drawer guy.
No, you can be Dick in the Box. Have you seen
Yes.
that skit? Yeah, okay.
Yeah, that was from like the early 2000s.
Yep.
Yeah,
Justin
Yeah.
Timberlake.
Yeah.
yeah. So yeah, but that's the story. So, all right. Well, I've really got to go to the bathroom.
That was
so.
amazing.
Yep. No,
That was
good.
fun.
That's a
Glad.
good place to end. Thanks, y'all.
Yeah.